All right. I had originally put a PowerPoint presentation together, and for some reason between my home laptop and here, it was corrupted. Fortunately, I had these images I had saved for Bob Hubbard because he was up there in years and was pretty much homebound. So as a way to get him out, Gary Stroh and I would share photos of our trips with him. So this is one of the Reading RDC trips crossing the Little Schuylkill River, just outside of Tamaqua. Gary is to my left. I was expecting him to fall in the creek. You can go to the next one. This is just outside Cressona, Pennsylvania, on the Reading and Northern. Pretty much what you see is what you get. That was just outside of Tamaqua. We're crossing the little. That was Reading, Little Schuylkill branch. Same place, just trying to be a little artsy with the tree, framing it. And that was a very hot, very humid day. We thought it was going to pour at any moment. And this was June of 2021. C&J 113 did a fundraiser coming through Schuylkill Haven. And that really nice gentleman on the platform there that you can see, you'll notice there was nobody else around really. He told us he would not be in our photos. He would be out of the way. And as soon as the train came, he stepped on the platform. Everybody got there. We organized ourselves. Everybody was happy. You always got to have that one guy. Next one. Just kind of a rail level view of a Reading and Northern switcher sitting outside of Temple. No, not Temple. Down near Blandon. Yeah, Temple. And just a Norfolk Southern train passing FM Brown in Sinking Spring. That was a barn that Gary Stroh and I saw in Ohio, and I made him pull over so I could get a photo because nobody would believe a barn could possibly do that. Again. And again, this is in Ohio. You can see it's flat as can be. It was a hot day and eventually it did pour on us. If you go to the next slide, I think that's when we got rained on. Yeah. And this is when we were getting poured on. And the whole reason I took the photo mainly was because of the Conrail auto box. These were taken September 2022 or September 2021. This is Deshler, Ohio, before they tore the depot down. The train on the left had just pulled in and come to a stop, and they were told not to accept the approach signal. Again, hot and humid day. Again, this one's a little underexposed. That's looking across the little reservoir, pond, lake, whatever it is at Deshler. And we're looking south toward Cincinnati, Louisville, that area. Something you don't see much these days. This is an eastbound coal train coming through Deshler, Ohio. A Montreal, Maine, and Atlantic boxcar because Mr. Hubbard enjoyed Maine railroads. Quite a bit. Just a stacked train going west through Deshler. This is a southbound coming through Deshler. The diamond at Deshler. The station on the right is no longer there. That was demolished in the fall. This we lucked out. This was the local. I came through town, went south, ran around, and went back north.
Is that tower still in service?
The maintainers use the tower. Yes, this is still Ohio. And while we were there, we lucked out and got the Katy Heritage Unit, but of course it couldn't be leading. B&O. This was originally B&O. The north-south track was Toledo, Cincinnati. The other one's the east-west Maine, Chicago, St. Louis, and Pittsburgh. Yes. Lucked out with this shot. The train came to a halt, so I could put the camera on the tripod. Yeah. Again, this shot was another put the camera on the tripod as the train came slowly around the Southwest Y. And then this is sunrise in Ohio. And train coming through here was about 2 miles long. It had a unit at the lead and then a DPU about halfway back. And we almost missed this train because a 3 mile long train went blocking the crossing ahead of us. Now we're in Fostoria, Ohio. We didn't know what the big deal about this train was, but everybody there called it the dirt train. And apparently it's a rarity to catch. So we lucked out and got the dirt train. Don't know why they call it the dirt train, Dick. It's what the local fans called it. And that gray area is not water or anything. They spread this really fine material down there, planning to build structures in that area. So this view, probably you can't get anymore. Just an interesting freight car. That's Gary, of course, but there's a better shot of Gary because Gary does what Gary does. It might be. That's the Gary. At least he didn't have his bright orange coat on. Now we're in Marion, Ohio. This is former Erie. What else is through here?
Probably C&O crossing the Erie.
Yes. So then reason we lucked out again, there was this old Jeep trailing this train. Just an interesting multi-compartment tank car. And again, this was just a Norfolk Southern local shoving interchange cars down to the CSX. This is from inside the Marion Tower. They had it open that day because they were having a railroad prototype modelers meet. So you could go up and line some routes with the mechanical interlocking machine. So I decided to try and be a little artistic with the camera. So the next couple of shots are examples of that. This was an old Erie tower at one time. It stood up on stilts. This was a rare move we lucked into again. It was export locomotives going to somewhere on the eastern seaboard for export. Didn't get a good look at them. They were all wrapped up tight. Probably EMD because we were too far west for GE. Just a CSX freight somewhere in Ohio. We were down in the Limestone area. Yeah, there's a hopper that's not going to carry much. And again, just a switcher down in Limestone Country. I'm having trouble remembering where exactly we were at this point. But as you can see, it's just mounds of limestone everywhere. And the little switcher there had just taken a cut of loaded cars up for CSX and was bringing the one damaged car back down. And of course, got to think here, medium clear. And then supposedly the color position lights on this Toledo line was supposed to be replaced this year, but as of last night, they were still there. And there's Deshler during the daytime hours with a southbound freight coming through. And here's a train that is turning to go from the westbound going southbound. The ubiquitous train crossing the crossing. Again, another train going from west to south. BNSF crossing the diamonds. And you know, this paint scheme is getting harder and harder to find. So when you see it, you snap it. Yeah, sun was setting, so got some nice illumination here. Still in Deshler. Morristown and Erie now. These next series are going to be really boring unless you're into air brakes. This is a split K under the Lackawanna bobber that the Morristown and Erie has. So unless you're a model railroader, we can probably skip through these. This one, for some reason, slightly overexposed on me, but that's Morristown and Erie CF7. Not sure how many of those are left after the hundreds that were made.
What is the CF7?
That was a rebuild by Santa Fe. They took the F unit, chopped off most of the cowling, made the hood. So there's some debate whether the C stands for convertible, converted, convertible, or converted, or Claiborne. An F7. It started life as an F7. And Eric Dervinis, who's watching, I know he says, I have a thing for switch stands, so this is just for him. I tend to work switch stands into my photos when I can. That's the Lackawanna subscription car that was just recently rebuilt and overhauled. Again, you'll notice the switch stand. And another rare breed, a switcher than this day and age, wearing Morristown and Erie's ode to Kodachrome. Yeah, the tower was, Harold Russell did a set of drawings in Model Railroader a couple of years ago of the tower. And of course, the car in front of the Lackawanna car is the Jersey Central Blue Comet observation.
There were 3 of them.
And this is the train coming back from its excursion. And now we've moved out to Phillipsburg late in the afternoon, hence the bad lighting. On the left is the Phillipsburg Railroad historians. They're to the left and behind me. The old C&J Tower was off to the right near the bridge. PU Tower. And speaking of stink, this is a trash train coming out of New Jersey going west. And on the right is an old C&J, one of the original Southern Railroad in New Jersey, the 36-inch gauge boxcars converted to a caboose. And again, this is standing on the bridge looking east. And you kind of see the tower poking up behind that third locomotive. This is the Belvedere Delaware Railroad. They were running excursions that day. So they've got a nickel plate inspired locomotive. Again, another westbound. And now we've got an eastbound, and you can kind of see PU Tower there. There is a group working to preserve it. This is Chapman Yard up in what was the cement region of Pennsylvania. And again, Gary and I got poured on just after we snapped this photo. Now we're down at Alburtis. The CNF secondary took off to the left here where this locomotive is sitting.
What's the CNF secondary?
That was the old Reading, Catasauqua, and Fogelsville branch. It was an independent railroad for a couple of years, and the Reading, being the Reading, absorbed it. Well, actually leased it for 999 years. And I believe that the Reading finally absorbed it on January 31st, 1945. When they did it, right around 1945, the Reading went through and really simplified their corporate structure and eliminated a great number of subsidiaries. So getting near the end of the day here, the sunlight was starting to fade. That's probably it. Yeah, that was late October of 2022, 2021. So yeah, that would be about right. Well, that's it for me. Hopefully I can get my PowerPoint to work better, and you can get to see that soon. I spent a couple months working on it, so